if the marketer is not, the brand owner is not going to give me that, then somebody else will, and they're going to lose more and more control. They've already lost the control, but they're going to lose my loyalty. So the final thing is digital accelerates the pace of change. And before, you know, everything happened on a nice, steady pace. Now, things happen much faster, so you need to optimize as you go. So, brand, how digital magnifies brand. It allows you to get to relevant differentiation better. It becomes a fly on the wall. Relevance is becoming more important, so make sure that your promise is relevant. More than ever, you need to get your brand ideas simple and sticky, because if it's not simple and sticky, it won't travel quickly in word-of-mouth conversation. And of course, you have to make sure you deliver. And in branding, you need to create cohesive experiences. Very hard to do. The first step is to get everyone on board inside the company before you worry about the outside. You need to deliver the deliver the brand cohesively. You need to enable conversation, recognize and embrace points of touch outside your control, and optimize as you go. So thank you. Let's take some questions. And if you want to get a cookie or another roasted sandwich, go ahead. Questions, comments? Anyone here? Want to get out in the rain? Yes, sir.
The kryptonite story is a really fascinating one, but I'm a little ignorant. What did kryptonite do once they were exposed to this stupid mistake they made?
Well, at first they reacted too slowly and said, well, maybe it'll go away. But then they,
because it wasn't just this one, right? I remember seeing other stuff about that.
Yeah. They, issued an apology, and then they went further. What you have to do is really a mea culpa. If you have this lock, send it back. We'll pay for the postage. We'll get you a new lock. They did all that, and they recovered. I mean, the Tylenol example from many years ago is that anytime your product doesn't deliver, if you are not very aggressive saying, oops, we made a mistake, it won't happen again, and we're going to make it easy for you, you're finished. So they, the only thing they did wrong is they acted too slowly, thinking that, who's watching YouTube, and, we'll just take care of this one clown in Seattle. Send them a little coupon for 10 cents off his next bicycle.
When you restore customer or consumer confidence at that point, do you need to go back and redefine your brand to a certain? I mean, is kryptonite done at that point, and they really need to
well, they need to acknowledge it's happened and talk about it, because the conversation's out there. And they say, oh, kryptonite super locks, and they don't acknowledge it. And you don't want to do an ad and say, hey, this is what's happened. But you need to become transparent. The other thing digital does, it makes the world much more transparent. So you need to do that.
Yeah, we have a lot of different products coming out, and there's a lot of competition among, just all over, just generally speaking. I mean, how would you tell a company? I mean, if their product is not rating very well, or in like a Consumer Reports, or on a CNET, or on an Amazon, where someone has rated or reviewed it, I mean, where do they go from that? I mean, they just don't have the technology, they don't have, the parts or whatever it is that's not bringing their product to the top.
So your question is?
My question is, what as a marketer, what do you do? I mean, your product's been out there already. I mean, it's in the market. You're not getting the most positive reviews and the feedback.
You have to fix it, because no amount of branding is going to solve the problem. And if you've got a bad product today, it's harder to market it in some ways than it was 5 years or 10 years ago, because information is flowing more freely, and which there's no way around it. Now, you can maybe offer other benefits, but if your core, that's why companies, to some extent, would make the argument, acquire some of the car companies. Because when I had a bad car before, I could write a letter to the chairman, and maybe send the made in paper airplane, and I could complain to my dealer. If I was really ambitious, I could get a letter in a newspaper. And if I was really ambitious, I get a letter on Channel 7. Can you believe this? Now you go online. If they don't provide a great experience. So I don't have an easy answer other than, don't waste money on any of the branding stuff until you get your promise. they're on Amazon, you can get them. I have one I'll raffle off. I'll ask one question, and for the person who gets it,
A good example of what you were talking about, though, of the automobile industry, which is really the example of we have all these problems and we can't change anything.
Right.
Because if you, the younger students here won't remember when Toyota was first sold in this country and what a piece of crap it was,
right.
and how everybody thought it was just the biggest piece of junk in the world, and how Toyota changed
Right, they delivered.
and did what they were supposed to do.
And so that's why, they're still advertising because they have to try to sell, but their advertising is not necessarily, the branding is not gonna sell the cars if the basic promise of the car, is not being delivered. Now, the other part they have, of course, is differentiation. I rent a lot of cars to go to travel, and, you rent a car, you're really busy, you jump in the car, and you're sitting in the car, and, after you rent about 20 cars, you don't know what car you're in from the inside, because
You don't know from the outside, too,
well,
sometimes.
they all have the same CD player, the same, the dashboard. There's, you can't. If you said, "What car did you rent?" I have no clue, and they're all have the right product benefits. They all have